7 extinct animals of ancient history in India. Extinction is a commonly occurring part of nature's cycle. While it is not known exactly how many species have lived over the course of Earth's history, common estimates propose that around 4 billion species have evolved on Earth. Of the total number of species that have ever lived, the vast majority have gone extinct. There are countless fascinating animals that would have wowed you if they were alive today, and some of which even walked the Earth at the same time as early humans. This article will peer backward through time and take a look at 7 extinct animals from ancient history. 1. Direwolf. Dire wolves are not just legends. They were real animals that lived during the late Pleistocene and early Holocene periods. Although dire wolves have a reputation for being much larger than modern wolves, the recovered fossils have varied in size. The last dire wolf, thought to have gone extinct over 10,000 years ago, died out during the end of the most recent ice age along with woolly mammoths and saber-toothed cats. Recent findings suggest that these predators were not actually wolves, and instead branched off from a common ancestor in their evolution. Up until a few years ago, dire wolves were part of the genus Canis, which encapsulates wolves, coyotes, and the modern dog. However, DNA samples collected from preserved dire wolf remains have revealed that the dire wolf actually belongs to its own lineage, the genus Anoceon, meaning that it is not a wolf at all. 2. Giant beaver, also known as castoroides. These ancient giant beavers grew larger than 2 meters in length, twice as large as their living relatives. They had massive front teeth and powerful jaws, allowing them to gnaw trees and branches, and large claws, used for digging burrows in the ground. Indigenous to North America, and weighing up to 200 pounds, the giant beaver is one of the largest rodents of all time. The giant beaver went extinct over 10,000 years ago. While the exact date and the reason for extinction are unknown, this beaver disappeared soon after or during the transition from the Pleistocene epoch to the Holocene. 3. Dwarf elephant. As the name suggests, the dwarf elephant is one of the smallest elephants to have ever lived. Dwarf elephants were first discovered on the small island of Telos in Greece. The dwarf elephant provides an example of insular dwarfism, a phenomenon where a species shrinks over time as a method of survival. The smaller size allowed it to conserve more energy, adjusting to scarce resources. Believed to be the last elephant species to live in Europe, the dwarf elephant died out roughly 4,000 years ago, around the same time as the development of the first written form of language. The dwarf elephant was actually alive during much of humanity's ancient history, living throughout most of the Holocene epoch. Remains of the dwarf elephant discovered alongside Neolithic tools point towards a possible coexistence. Yet, it remains undetermined whether early humans ever actually came into contact with these elephants. 4. Woolly mammoth. Perhaps one of the most well-known on this list, the woolly mammoth is a mammal of the family Elephantidae that lived during the Pleistocene era. Woolly mammoths were well known for their large tusks and woolly coat. Their coarse hair, made up of 2 layers, was a necessary adaptation to keep the mammoths warm in the cold temperatures of the late Pleistocene ice age. They were also staggeringly large, weighing in at around 6 tons. Historically, humans thought that the woolly mammoth came to extinction due to early hunter-gatherers. However, recent research has challenged this theory on the basis that the primitive tools used by our ancestors at the time would not have been strong enough to penetrate their thick hides. Other theories have suggested that climate change during the interglacial period was mainly responsible for their extinction. In any case, extinctions are often the result of multiple factors contributing over time, and the woolly mammoth is no exception. 5. Saber-toothed cat. Another well-known animal from ancient history, the saber-toothed cat, is an apex predator that lived across a variety of continents, including North America, South America, Asia, Europe, and Africa. The fact that they were apex predators meant they had little to be afraid of, and aside from climate constraints they could live in any region, which is why they lived on so many continents. Fossils of these large cats date 56 million years back, during the mid to late Eocene era. Their defining feature is their long, sharp canine teeth that jut below their jaw, giving them their iconic name. These cats were also very large, with some species of saber-tooth reaching nearly 8 feet in length. The closest living relative to the saber-toothed cat is the clouded leopard. 6. Glyptodon. The Glyptodon is an extinct genus of mammals that lived in South America and parts of North America 5 million to 11,000 years ago. Related to the modern armadillo, the bone plating covering their body gave them an armored shell that offered full protection. The Glyptodon, however, had a few noteworthy attributes that set them apart. The first was their size. Glyptodon grew to almost 3 meters in length and 1.5 meters in height and weighed up to 4,000 pounds, although some subspecies of Glyptodons were slightly smaller than this. Larger Glyptodons generally had wider jaws, which was due to their need to bulk feed or to ingest a wider range of foods to accommodate for the energy demands of their larger size. Some types of Glyptodon had rigid, bony plating on their tails. The primary use of their tails would have been during territory or mating disputes, and to defend against predators. Glyptodons were highly specialized mammals, equipped to survive in their environment, but sadly they died out over 10,000 years ago. 7. Shivatherium. Shivatherium was an ancient 7-foot-tall extinct mammal found in India. The enormous animals were initially found in India, where they were given the name Shivatherium, after the Hindu god Lord Shiva. The Shivathers were the tallest and quickest creatures ever discovered in India. Shivatherium resembled the modern okapi, but was far larger and more heavily built, being about 2.2 meters, 7.2 feet, tall at the shoulder, 3 meters, 9.8 feet, in total height with a weight up to 400 to 500 kilograms, 880 to 1,100 pounds. A newer estimate has come up with an estimated body mass of about 1,250 kilograms, 2,760 lb, or 1,360 kilograms, 3,000 lb. This would make Shivatherium one of the largest known ruminants, rivaling the modern giraffe and the largest bovines. This weight estimate is thought to be an underestimate, as it does not take into account the large horns possessed by males of the species. Shivatherium had a wide, antler-like pair of ossicones on its head, and a second pair of ossicones above its eyes. Its shoulders were very powerful to support the neck muscles required to lift the heavy skull. Shivatherium was initially misidentified as an archaic link between modern ruminants and the now obsolete, polyphyletic, pachyderms, elephants, rhinoceroses, horses and tapirs.